Hey everyone, my name is Joe Moyo. I'm a solutions architect with Alexa Skills Kit, and I was on Alexa. And I'm going to be joined today in the July recap with Nicholas Hubbard, who is a SDE on the Skills Connections team. After that, we'll go over the rest of the July recap.
Nicholas Hubbard, as you said. I'm an engineer on the Skill Connections team. We just recently released Skill Connections on July 1st to the public. If you're unfamiliar, Skill Connections is the ability for one skill to leverage another skill's capability for specific tasks. This is one of the most sort of revolutionary sort of paradigm shifts with skill development, if you ask me, because instead of just having one skill being able to do something, we're allowed to have multiple skills sort of interact with each other and build complex experiences for our customers. So to start out with, we have a demo skill on the Alexa Skill Building Cookbook. It is here in Feature Demos and Skill Connections. And as you can see, we have two skills. So there is a requester skill. So this is a skill that a user will start talking to and eventually will say something, and the requester skill will then begin a Skill Connections interactions with a provider skill. And so we can sort of take a quick high-level look at each of their codes, if I can find it. Cluster demo and index. So yeah, to use Skill Connections, all you have to do is return a directive. Sort of the most important thing is that the directive is of type connections start connection, and then how you specify what type of connection you want to use is you specify a URI, where the authority of the URI represents the task that you want to send, and then the path of the URI represents the version.
Oh, hey.
So yeah, currently we have 5 tasks that 5 public tasks, which are schedule food establishment.
Oh, hey
reservations.
Nick.
Yeah.
It looks like the stream is down right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it is back up. I see it playing again. Sorry about that, everyone. We're just going over the request response for Skills Connection.
Yeah. And so yeah, once a provider is done handling it, they'll send back another directive of type tasks complete task with a status. Then this will come back to the requester, and it will hit their session resumed request handler. The cool thing about the session resumed request is that anything that's stored in session attributes when this directive is sent will be able to be pulled out in the session resumed request handler. As well as you'll get a status code and a message, and we'll be able to work off of that. Yeah, that's sort of all I had. I was going to show an in-person demo of me printing out something, but I had some issues setting up my webcam. So does anybody have any questions, or is there anything else you want me to talk about, Joe?
I'll drop some links into the chat here. So you can see the Skill Connections docs as well as the blog post on that. So we can... Yeah, does anyone have any questions about Skill Connections? Oh, yeah, sorry about that connection loss in their oxygen box. It is ironic, eh?
So yeah, some of the stuff that we are working on right now is custom task definitions, so allowing developers to specify their own tasks and being able to be providers for their own custom tasks, as well as what's also in the works is direct connections, and this is giving the ability for a requester to select their own provider. And then, one of the big things for our team is we want to know what our developers want with Skill Connections and how we can enrich this new platform. And we're always looking for feedback for new tasks that you would like to see from Amazon.
Yeah, so currently today, the ones that are available at launch, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Nick, but print image, print PDF, print web page,
Yep.
and then schedule taxi reservation and schedule food establishment reservation.
Correct. Also, the sort of underlying the Amazon Pay interface as well as the in-scale product feature both use Skill Connections underneath.
Oh, that's really neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Now, where do you see, how do you see developers best making use of this?
Sort of the thing that I see for the future of Skill Connections, once we start giving more freedom to the developers and start opening up the platform a bit more, is the ability to sort of microservice your skills. So instead of having one monolithic skill that has a million intents for everything, they could be simplified into sort of components. So where you have a skill that just handles everything with customer service, and a skill that just handles everything with billing questions, and a skill that handles everything with foobar. And then whenever a user is talking to it, just like whenever you call into customer service, these skills can say, oh, I can't handle this myself, but this other skill has all the intimate knowledge with that domain and can send it over to there. So sort of simplifies sort of skill development and allows for, having one thing that does, having one skill that does one thing well, and if it can't do that thing, it talks to another skill that it knows can do that thing well. So that's sort of the feature that I see as we start to open up this platform. As of now, I think there's a lot of cool features to be had, printing web pages and scheduling reservations and taxis, as well as pay and in-skill products seem to be our biggest use cases right now for Skill Connections.
Very cool. Well, keep up the good work on this.
I plan to.
We've got a couple more viewers. Does anyone have any questions about Skill Connections before we move on to the next topic? I can give Nick some of his time back. I mean, you're also welcome to stay here, Nick. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, let's move on to the next topic. So,
thank you, Joe.
Thanks a lot for joining, Nick.
Yeah, not a problem. I'll be dropping off.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
All right. So that was Nick, SDE from Skills Connection team. So next up, we just had a webinar on this too. So the Game On SDK was released this month, and you can go to Alexa Design/leaderboard to learn more, as well as the special offer that we have with it. So Game On is a service provided by Amazon for game developers to manage competitions. And we see a lot of use in leaderboards in Alexa skills to increase retention. And if you want to see the entirety of the video, you can see the video recording here. That's from this morning. And so since leaderboards are such a great way to engage your players and drive retention with your game skill, and this SDK is for Node.js specifically and provides higher level methods than the REST interface does for Game On. And if you sign up within the beta period, and this requires creating both a Game On account as well as creating a skill to use with it. If you provide your skill ID and you provide your Game On game ID, you'll be able to use this for free. So I highly encourage everyone to check out the blog post I linked above to learn more. And there is a sample which you can find, as well as the documentation, here at github.com/alexa-games/skills-gameon-sdk.js. Also the name of the node package that you need to install in order to use it. Well, Leo, it does cost some money, but if you're an Alexa skill developer, you provide your skill ID in the form on that Alexa design/leaderboard, it will be free for use. So create your account, and you also need an AWS account in order to use it. That's where billing is usually done through. Incredible indeed. And feel free to post questions in the chat. I'll move on to the next topic, and I'm happy to circle back if anyone has questions as I'm going through this. So next up, we just released Nicolas Cage match, great name. Yes, free if you sign up. So next up, APL 1.1. So we just released a new, the next version of the Alexa presentation language, which now has support for animations, vector graphics. It has better tooling and a design system that makes APL skill development for multiple viewports much faster. So you can use more responsive components, and you can even specifically target certain types of devices. So just to show you, big blob of JSON, but, the GIF is not appearing in here. That's a shame. Let's use a different browser. So there's a nice animated GIF of a light bulb. Here we go. So this is all possible just through APL now, using APL 1.1. And you're going to have to change your version in your APL document to version 1.1 in order to make use of the new features. But this comes with the animate item command, which will allow you to animate images and text, as well as you can animate vectors and use vector graphics in general. So I know that this is something that has long been awaited. There's also, as I mentioned, tooling improvements. So if we go to the console, you can now drag and drop in your APL components, right? So now I have a container. If I want to use a frame inside there, let's give the frame some properties. Yes. Put in an image. Let me get an image URL. So drag and drop in the APL interface helps make things a little bit easier to build your APL documents. Any questions? All right, next up, this is something you might have noticed on your own, but we rolled out quick builds inside the developer console. Oh, APL, yes. It's on all of the Echo devices for sure right now. And it should be coming to third-party devices. Yeah, already on all Echo devices. So with quick builds, you can save time and start testing sooner with the console support for this. So you can't actually do testing from like the testing tab of your console, but you can start testing your sample utterances. The statistic is an average of 67% quicker than before. And I'm sure that this changes based on how large your interaction model is. Sometimes those builds can be long if you have really huge interaction models. So let's take a look at what this looks like. So I have a skill here. And I have this intent item intent, just has one thing. So let's say I want to add what is item, and we'll add things and items. All right. Now, when I save the model and do a build, we notice, oh, my face is covering this. Quick build is successful, and once that's the case, we can use the utterance profile and start testing right away. So things will show up to item intent. So while the model is still training, I'm able to make use of the changes that I have made to my utterances and test them out in the utterance profiler, which is pretty cool, especially if you've got a really large skill. It's even more useful. So go to the quick build docs to learn more about that. Yeah, that's all I have for today. Any good tutorials in APL 1.1? That is a great question, Sean. Let's see. The block post does have some sample code, which both uses vectors and animate item. So definitely check that out. I don't know about any full-fledged tutorials that exist as of right now. Definitely something that we're going to be looking into, though. But the general premise is the same as... yeah, in general on APL, I don't think we have any good tutorials at the moment. But yeah, my team is definitely looking into doing that in the future. Yeah, anytime. There are some open source repos on this. Let's see, Alexa Labs. Yeah, Kyoko. So for best practices, you'll want to provide, when you use images, you want to try to support the Echo devices natively if you can. And there's actually, as part of this release, there's a new option, which I can show you here, under interfaces. So no longer do you just toggle APL on or off, but you actually can select the different viewports of Echo devices that you support specifically. And now if you don't select one of these, it will scale to fit the screen that exists there. And so this is also true of the third-party devices. And on top of that, if you have anything in particular you want to be supporting, we'll go into this, and you can actually set up any arbitrary viewport that you would like in the simulator. So you can make it round or rectangular and give it width and height. So if there's something specific that your skill wants to target, you can do that. The simulator, it helps to validate that your document will render properly. across all the different preset devices as well as whatever arbitrary devices you want to put in there. Yeah, that's definitely something like a document for best practices. Yeah, seems like a good idea. So how does it work on Alexa Fire TV skills on a television high-resolution device? Yeah, I mean, APL works on all of those. APL works both on Fire TVs as well as Fire tablets. And it takes in a different ratio. So it's 1920 by 1080. So 1080p. Examples on the skill store. Yeah, I like Big Sky a lot. I think they do a fantastic job of supporting different screens in a really nice way, especially the way they handle more interesting screens like the Echo Spot. So I think that's a great skill to look at. One of the really cool skills with animations that I like is Diamond Slots. It's a slot machine game, which is really neat. It's work by default on older Fire device. Do you mean APL 1.1? APL 1.1 should work on older Fire devices. Well, actually, I don't know exactly how old that's supported to. Hi, are there any known issues with APL commands executing properly on the dev console but not on an actual device? Hey, Lil Wooly. I actually hit an issue like this myself with Animate Item. Although I'm not sure if I actually had something incorrect in my code or not. But it was working in console, but not on a show in particular. That's something I'll reach out to the team on that one and check. Let me make a note. Okay, how can you improve optimize performance with APL on show devices? Yeah, so improving caching. So I would say it's best practice to take wherever you're hosting your images and use a CDN network. Yeah, well, that's redundant, but use a CDN like AWS CloudFront or something similar, and that will improve the speed to fetch images. I don't know about caching APL documents. Yeah, Little Woolly, you are not alone. Yeah, so in terms of passing certification, yeah, make sure it renders appropriately on all the devices you physically have yourself with screens, including Fire TVs and if you have that. And then make sure it renders appropriately in the dev console. Are you having some issue passing certification? Oh, okay. You working on a cool skill? Oh, that's really neat. I mean, you can feel free to reach out to me, but I don't know if I could give you a contact directly. Sweet, yeah, I look forward to it. Alexa-enabled board game sounds really cool. I'm only aware of one right now. When in Rome. Just pretty neat. Alexa as the moderator. So the cost for leaderboards won't change after beta for anything you've signed up for during the beta period. So let me show you what I mean by sign up. So if we go to sign up, you will need name, last name, email. Organization is optional. Your country, and then you need the skill ID of the skill. So for that skill, it should remain free, even after beta ends. But for any new skills that you don't sign up for during this time period, it will not be free. And I don't know if we're accepting multiple skills per person or not. Okay. Someone asked about APL tutorial, and we do sort of have, so we have a workshop here, Starship Enterprise. Now this doesn't use any APL 1.1 right now, but it does walk you through the steps of building a really interesting APL document. So check that out if you're looking for a way to get started with the APL. I know I fall back on this sometimes. All right. So if there's no more questions, I'll call it here.